At this stage, you would already have researched your candidate's social media profiles, including LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as part of your due diligence. This provides ample information about their life outside of work. Now you need to understand how they perform in and around the workplace from previous employers. References provide an insight into your candidate's abilities and interaction with colleagues. CVs only tell part of your candidate's story from their perspective. References allow you to view the full picture from previous employers. It could also earmark any areas of training or development they may require. Ideally, references will validate your candidate's ability to fulfill the role you're putting them forward to. If they don't, you need to make your client aware of this. It's crucial that as part of this process, you never hold back information. You have an obligation to give your client honest feedback. Always give them the full picture. Let your client make their own conclusions about the references you receive. Don't characterize them as good or even bad. One client's nightmare candidate is another company's dream hire. Transparency is the key. References help you get these answers. You can also use them as a sales tool. If you use your references to reinforce your candidate's ability to do the job, your client may be more likely to make them an offer. For example, if interviewing is your candidate's strength and it didn't go as well as it could have done, but they have a fantastic reference, you can sell this information to your client. This could give your candidate a chance in securing a second or even a third interview. Good references can overcome objections your client might have after the first interview. A successful recruiter will always use reference checks to keep the process moving forward. References can help enhance your reputation as a recruiter. Clients are more likely to work with you if you follow a thorough and honest and transparent process. Taking references also provides valuable opportunities to expand your network. Your candidates' references could become new contacts and generate leads for new business opportunities. Many candidates may already have written references on their file that they can share with you. You can save yourself a lot of time by asking for these as part of your sourcing process. Also at this stage, it's useful to ask for proof of any bonuses the candidate has received in previous roles. This could be in the form of a P60 or a confirmation letter when they were in their last position. If the candidate is not willing to provide any proof of bonuses they claim to have received, this could be a red flag that they're hugely inflating their figures. This could be discovered by your client when they receive the candidate's details when they begin the new role, and weaken their view of the due diligence process as a recruiter. It's also critical to be aware of false references. Do not accept references from line managers. This could be a friendly colleague who will give a biased view. References should always include the HR manager or a senior staff member. Anyone less senior than this could undermine your professionalism, leaving a poor impression with the client. So when should you take a reference? I would take them immediately after the first interview, if there is a continuing interest between the client and the candidate. Don't let the process lose momentum. Check them straight after the interview debriefs to keep the things moving along, even if your client's checking them too. You must always ask for permission from the candidate before you approach referees. You cannot jeopardize their position if their current employer doesn't know they're interviewing elsewhere. Taking a reference from their current employer typically takes place once the client has made the candidate a firm offer that's been accepted. In the meantime, you can move the process along by doing your due diligence and taking references from older employers. How many references do you need to collect? In some sectors, it is a legal requirement to take at least 2 references. Normally, I take a maximum of 3 to 4, depending on the role, industry, client, and the level of experience you're dealing with. You can judge the amount of references you need on a case-by-case basis. What questions should I ask the referee? You need to ask questions that validate your candidate's ability to do the job, rather than just asking about their dates of employment, salary, punctuality, etc. Describe the position you're putting the candidate forward for, and then expand your line of questioning to include, do you think they can do this job? Would you hire them to do this role? What did they do at your company to demonstrate their ability to fulfill this position? What skills in particular do you think they have that will allow them to excel in this role? In your opinion, what would prevent them from succeeding in this role? Then I'd ask what I call housekeeping questions. Can you verify the candidate's date of employment, title and role? Would you rehire the candidate if he applied? Why or why not? What responsibilities were assigned to the candidate when he was with you? What were their strengths and weaknesses? Were they punctual? Were there any issues with their attendance? How did they get on with their peers, their managers, their clients? What should I take into consideration before I place this candidate in his new role? What advice would you give to a future employer relating to this particular candidate? I never compromise on this part of the process. It's imperative that you listen to both the bits you want to hear and the bits you probably don't want to hear. My 5 key tips to take away from this module are: firstly, choose your questions wisely. Use this opportunity to work out whether the candidate can do the job, rather than focusing too much on their previous roles. Present every reference to your client. It might be tempting to ignore a bad reference, but this will set you back later on in the process. Present your written notes on every reference you take to the client, as this demonstrates a high level of professionalism. Exercise your sales techniques when relaying the reference to your client. Focus on information that's relevant and applicable for the role that you're working on. Protect your candidate's confidentiality and always get written permission before approaching referees. Don't let your negligence cost the candidate their job. Finally, in my career, I often gained additional job briefs due to the fact my HR contacts were so impressed with the style and thoroughness of my reference checks. A high level of service at this stage will separate you from your peers and lead to further opportunities.